Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a look into Boericke's homeopathic materia medica, which, for anyone maybe less familiar, it's essentially a detailed collection of symptoms and traits linked to different substances,
Right, and often plants, like the one we're focusing on today, Arum Triphyllum.
which most people probably know as Jack in the Pulpit.
Exactly that one. And our mission really is just to explore what this specific source says about it.
Yeah, what are the core ideas, the main actions described in Boericke? We want to pull out the key insights for you.
And the source, well, it jumps right in with the absolute core concept.
It does. It says Arum triphyllum and related plants contain this irritant poison, causes inflammation, tissue destruction.
And there's a key word they use, the keynote.
Right, the keynote, which in this system sort of means the most defining feature, the guiding idea. And here it's acridity.
Acridity
Yeah.
is the word.
Yeah.
It's presented as the central theme, not just general irritation, mind you. No, it's described as something sharp, really biting, almost corrosive in how it acts.
Okay, so that raises the question then, based on Boericke. How does this acridity, this intense quality, how does it actually show up?
Where do we see it?
Yeah, in the symptoms the text talks about.
Well, what's interesting is how specific the effects are described, often quite extreme, actually, locally.
Locally, okay.
Yeah, the acridity isn't some vague thing. The source details a kind of corroding process, especially on surfaces like mucous membranes.
Right. So let's dig into that. Where does the source point? The nose, maybe? That
Yeah.
seems quite prominent in the description.
Oh, definitely the nose. You see that acridity right away in the discharge. It's called excoriating.
Excoriating meaning.
Meaning it's so sharp, so irritating, it actually produces raw sores.
Wow.
Yeah. The nose can feel blocked up too, forcing mouth breathing. But the detail that really jumps out
What's that?
is the description of this compulsion, this need to constantly pick at the nose.
Just picking.
Picking until it bleeds. It's presented as a direct behavioral response to that intense, painful, digging irritation.
Picking until it bleeds. That really highlights how severe the sensation must feel, according to the text.
It does.
And this isn't just the nose, right? The source seems to suggest the mouth and throat are similarly affected.
Absolutely. The text talks about a really distinct raw feeling. On the roof of the mouth, the palate,
Raw. Yeah.
lips, soft palate, described as sore and burning. Corners of the mouth get sore, cracked. Lips chapped, burning. And again, that picking behavior is
There's
mentioned.
the lips too.
Yeah, picking the lips until they bleed. Even the saliva is described as profuse, acrid, and corroding. It just echoes that destructive quality seen in the nasal symptoms.
So it sounds like this acrid quality is basically creating raw, almost open surfaces wherever it's most active.
That's a good way to put it, yeah. And the skin symptoms mentioned, they sort of reinforce that picture. Any scarlet rash can apparently lead to raw, bloody surfaces. So it shows the effect isn't totally confined. Although, yeah, the mucous membranes, nose, mouth, throat, they seem to be the main targets highlighted here.
And what about the voice? I think I saw something about that, tight to the throat.
Yes, exactly. Hoarseness is mentioned, the voice being uncertain, maybe uncontrollable, and it specifically mentions clergyman's sore throat.
Interesting.
And these are all linked back to that raw, sort of constricted, burning feeling in the throat area. It's just another place this intense local irritation shows up.
The source also throws in a few other details, doesn't it? Like things that make symptoms worse or potential antidotes.
Right, what are called modalities. The symptoms are noted as being worse, specifically from a northwest wind and also from lying down.
Northwest wind.
Specific.
Yeah. And then it suggests some antidotes. Buttermilk, acetic acid, and pulsatilla. These little details kind of round out the specific picture Boericke paints for this substance.
Okay, so let's try and pull this all together. What's the main takeaway from these passages on Arum triphyllum, according to this source? Well, I think the source paints a really remarkably consistent picture. It's defined by this intense, acrid, corrosive irritation. That's the foundation.
Right.
And this fundamental quality is described as leading to raw, sore, even bleeding surfaces, especially, as we said, across the mucous membranes.
And that picking behavior.
Yeah, that vivid description of picking until bleeding is maybe the most memorable illustration of just how severe the sensation is portrayed to be, driven by that acridity.
It's definitely insightful seeing how one single characteristic, this acridity, is described as playing out in such, well, distinct and painful ways, even affecting behavior like the picking.
It's not just an abstract concept in the text. It's shown through the body's described reactions.
Yeah.
And, maybe that leaves us with something to think about.
What's that?
How might knowing about this single defining characteristic, this powerful acridity described in such detail in this specific source, how might that influence the way you, the listener, perceive a plant like Jack in the Pulpit, even just seeing it in the wild outside of any medicinal context?
What does it mean for something natural to have this potent, almost locally destructive quality described in such vivid terms?
Something to mull over after this deep dive.